going on, everybody? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine and your host of the RodCAST, brought to you by Lucas Oil. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Greg Costa, editor of Engine Labs and the all-around tech guru. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Vinny. How you doing?
I'm well, man. I'm well. We are back with another episode of the Super Muscle Car Shootout, which you so aptly named our last episode. If watchers, viewers, fans of the show will remember, we did the Camaro ZL1. We virtually built one with our guest who we brought back today, Rob Finkelman, columnist, longtime columnist for Street Muscle Magazine. And we virtually built one. We used our new scoring system to grade that thing amongst the three of us. And now we're back to do it again this week between two cars, Greg.
We've got the GT500 or the Hellcat. We still haven't figured out whether we're going to do just a Hellcat or a Red Eye, huh?
Yeah, we might have to duke that one out. I think last week Rob was really pushing for just a regular Hellcat, but I think if we are to compare the pony car at the top of the heap for each one of these three manufacturers, it has to be the Red Eye, because that's like the best one that you can buy, the best production Hellcat that you can buy outside of the Demon, which is no longer in production.
But the Demon doesn't really count because that's like straight line oriented. And
or the Super Stock. I forgot that you still can buy, but again, I think we talked about this last week, and like you just said, it's a little bit more straight line oriented. So
yeah, I don't know if I'd consider that like an all rounder, like the GT500 and the ZL1.
Yeah, it wouldn't really be a fair contest, I don't think. You know, that's like the name alone, you know, implies that it's more geared toward that genre of motorsports. I mean, it only comes with one seat, I believe, and no back seat and stuff. And these other two cars that we're talking about, the GT500 and the ZL1, both come, complete with full interior. While they potentially could be, a race car, right out of the gate, they're actually not. They're street cars.
Yeah, they actually have that badge. Now, I don't know much about the Super Stock. Is it like the Demon where it comes with like a set of skinnies and slicks?
I think it's an option, but you're right. It might come like that from the factory. I wish I knew the answer. I'll have to look that up. But I know that it comes with things that like the regular Hellcat doesn't, like launch control. Wait, does the Hellcat comes with launch control? But it comes with it comes with line lock and some other drag racing centric things. I'd have to look at the Dodge website, which maybe we'll do. But in any case, today we're going to figure out which one comes next. Last week we spun a wheel to keep it nice and fair, and so we'll do the same this week with Rob and figure out which one we're going to build. I have an idea which one you're hoping for to go next, Greg. Do you want the Mustang to go next, or do you want it to go last?
I think I'd like it to go last.
Okay, fair enough.
But
yeah, well, so as a refresher from last week, we created this new scoring system. It's a 0 to 5 scoring system. We have 7. Is it 7 or 8, Greg?
7, I think.
We have seven different parameters with which we're measuring these cars, metrics rather, and so based on that final score, we divide the overall price of the car that we built, and we build these cars in a democratic way, right? We vote on certain things that we don't always agree upon to come up with the end car with the end price. And we tally all of our scores, divide it. That way it's nice and fair. And that leaves us with point per dollar, right, Greg?
Dollars per point. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I tried to do point per dollar the first time, and it was like, what is this number? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the cool thing is it leaves us with like a final number that'll actually give us a winner and answer the question definitively, like at least based on our opinions. Which car is the best value, which is what we were trying to establish when we first did the GT, the RT Scat or the Scat Pack and the and the SS. So without further ado, I guess we should jump into it. But before we do, let's have a word from one of our sponsors. Motor oils and additives are the two most important pillars of the German company Liqui-Moly. Beyond that, the company sells service products, car care, greases, pastes, underbody protection, and windscreen adhesives. They also offer the tools and equipment required to use those products effectively. There are a total of more than 4,000 items, which make Liqui-Moly a globally unique, full-range retailer for automotive chemicals. Along with cars, Liqui-Moly also has its own product range for motorcycles and bicycles, for commercial vehicles and construction machines, for garden devices and industrial applications, as well as for boats and small aircraft. In order to ensure the consistently high quality of its products, Liqui-Moly produces its oils and additives exclusively in Germany. So, if you want to check out the high quality products of Liqui-Moly, go to liquimoly.com. That's LIQUI-MOLY.com. And we're back. The boys. What's going on? How are you guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Ready
Good.
for another build episode. What did you start calling these, Greg?
I don't know.
The super muscle car shootout.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. What did I say?
Right on.
Yeah,
hey, is my video still all crappy?
It's a little behind, but it's much better than it was.
I'm sorry, guys. Everybody at home, our normal production standards have to compromise a little bit. I'm shooting from the office today, so you guys don't see my signature Old Glory background. But this Mustang's pretty cool.
Yeah, GT500, like a 2011, maybe 2012.
I think it was a 13 first year for this body style, right, Greg?
Oh,
Yeah.
13. Yeah, you're
Because
right.
if you look at
My bad.
the thick, I don't know what that would, the grill surround, I guess. I'm not sure what exactly that's called, but
Not my favorite, if I'm being completely honest. I like the 10, 11, and 12 that you were talking about, Rob. Very nice.
Choice.
But hey, speaking of Mustangs, we might have to build one today, right?
yes,
Maybe or maybe not.
Well, our picker wheel looks kind of funny because there's only 2 options on it right now. I mean, it only had 3 to begin with, and we've already
It's
done
like
one.
a BMW logo now, I bet, right?
No,
Yeah.
now it's
Oh,
like
it's not. That would be 4.
yeah, this is like
2.
a Pokemon ball, I guess. But so I mean, if you guys want to jump into it, we'll spin the wheel and see which one we're doing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, why not? Let's jump into it.
All right. Let me pull up the picker wheel. Can you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll
Yep.
go and spin it.
How come the GT500 gets to be on the top?
I put it second. You can see that. Oh, okay.
Oh,
We are building a Mustang. All right.
enough for
Can you guys hear that? Like, I don't know if that's coming through. There's music and
What
stuff.
the-
No.
Yeah. No, we don't get the fancy music.
All right. So let's go to Ford.
It's okay.
You just get the fancy picker wheel itself.
Thank you, Google.
All right. So I'm going to close that out. So we've got
Our internet overlord.
performance. All right. I knew they did. They weren't listing them under Mustang.
I feel like you've done this before. You know, like all the steps. What's going on here?
Oh, I
Are you sure you didn't cheat again and build one?
No, but I lived on this configurator for several years before
Let's
I
build a
got
convertible.
No.
No. Yeah, I don't even think. Did they make a GT500 convertible?
So do we remember the price?
So the base is almost as much as the finished price of the
I think
ZL1.
we were pushing 77K.
Yeah, I think we were at 77 once we were out the door.
Right.
Yep.
The ZL1.
Damn, that's the good looking car.
Okay.
Look at that thing. We haven't even built it yet, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm ready to cage fight with you guys, like out of the block.
Yeah, because that's like your color right there, isn't it?
If we don't get the carbon
last time
package,
we
I'm leaving.
The last time we built a Mustang, I got overridden on color. And this time I'm going to fight for it. It could
don't
get
I like
ugly.
that color. That's cool.
This is the color
That's
Rob's
the
talking
color.
about.
Antimatter blue, man. That
I think
looks-
it's cool, but I'm telling you, if we don't get the carbon package, I'm leaving. I'm not. You guys can finish this episode by yourselves.
well, it's like American politics. You give a little, you take a little.
I just want to point this out though. Okay, remember how good the white looked on the ZL1?
Yes.
Not gonna.
It's
I don't hate it.
But it's not there. It's not there.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I actually
but-
like the white better on this than I did on the ZL1.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And
and
you
I'm not-
are-
as I said, I'm not a white fan, you know.
See,
You are what our friends to the south call loco.
See, this is my call, and that's only because I've seen it in person. The iconic GT500, the iconic silver is deep enough that it plays with all the sharp angles.
It's a good looking color. You know what else is good is carbonized gray. Looks great on this car.
Oh, can we do that? Come on. I know you want antimatter blue, but come on. Come
Wait,
on.
let's check
All
out the
right,
other.
look.
Look at the other blue. I
Look,
want to see the other blue.
here's
Ford
how it's going to
Performance.
go. Either I get my antimatter blue now, or you both agree at this moment, and I want your signatures in blood that I pick the color of the Hellcat.
I'm willing to do that. What about you, Vinny?
No, because I don't care enough about the color of this thing.
No, it's just that you don't care about me.
I'm willing.
Okay.
I'm willing to 100% give up.
That's a terrible deal, Rob. I would have agreed to that anyways.
What, antimatter?
No, on well, yes, and you could have your pick of the Hellcat. I mean, all the colors look good on that thing, and I know you're going to pick orange. So
Vinny
No,
from
'cause
Deal Masters
like we
101.
discussed, we did orange on the Scat Pack, so we were gonna pick a different color this time.
I like that yellow.
It's too highlighter for me. Well, you like high vis orange, construction safety vest orange on.
You know what's a bummer though? The Ford Performance Blue is the best look. Don't just don't. It's the best looking color on this car because I've seen all these colors in person, and I drove the Ford Performance Blue, and it looks like crap on the website.
Yeah, Ford Performance Blue is one of Ford's best blues ever.
Well, it doesn't look as crap as the colors on the Dodge website do because you select Go Mango, which is basically a gloss color. It has a little pearlescent in it, but on their website, it looks like a metallic. All the colors look like metallic on their website, so you can't even tell.
Is this looking a little bit dark blue to you guys? Because this is supposed to be black, and on my monitor,
Yeah,
it's
it
coming
looks
up kind of
dark blue. That's what I'm saying. Like the website, it kind of makes everything funky. So I'm down with the antimatter blue if you guys want to pick
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Only because
That-
Rob has such an attachment to that. I'll go.
I like it. I think it looks great.
It reminds me of the dark blue of Shelby's of the past. Like in the 60s, you could get a color called night mist blue, which is like a dark blue. And if fans of my columns are watching, you'll recall I did an article about Jim Morrison's lost Shelby GT500 67. And his was night mist blue, which is very, very close to antimatter. And I just dig it.
That's such a cool color. But like the classic Guardsman blue and Wimbledon white is like the combo, and you could get it. I guess you can't anymore, but in 2020, I guess you could get it on the GT500.
Well, could we get Oxford white and then add Kona blue?
No, because it's not it doesn't give you the center stripes. They're like the ones down on the rocker.
Well, hold on.
I don't think this car works with center stripes because of that hood.
It does. I saw the Guardsman blue and Wimbledon white, like whatever anniversary edition. They had it at at Sonoma Raceway. Looked really good.
In spite of the blacked out portion of the hood.
Yeah, and like the way that you have it built out right here, Greg, it just doesn't look good because that white is too white and the blue is too blue.
Yeah, exactly. Because that Wimbledon white has the touch of cream in it, right? Like it's and the blue was almost an antimatter blue, right?
Yeah, it's a dark blue and like a off like eggshell kind of color.
Yeah, so I don't think
my choice here would be the antimatter and just do the white rocker stripes.
I'd like to see that.
most people don't know, but the over-the-top stripes on the original Shelby's was an option. Cars didn't come that way.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the stripes on
You
this
talking
thing.
about
On
this?
yeah, I don't like the rocker stripes.
I
Not for
don't.
me.
I don't mind it. Like, especially, I mean, this kind of gives me Mark II GT40 vibe or GT vibes.
It breaks up the lines of the car too much. I don't like it.
I think I would like it better actually if it had the call out on the sides.
Where
like
it said
the original.
GT500.
Yeah, if it said GT500
that might look cool
on the rocker.
I vote no on the graphics. I think just plain.
I vote this no, but like aftermarket, if you could get the real GT500 rocker, okay, then I'd go with that. But I this not without the GT500.
Yeah, this isn't working for me either. I like in any matter, definitely no stripes.
You know what this thing needs? A big wing, a giant spoiler.
It has one. Look, it's the swing, as they call it.
I think you're gonna get one, Vinny, as soon as we check the carbon fiber track pack or whatever.
No, but they do it right. It's just like a little wicker bill.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to do a black roof with?
I don't care. Why is that?
Anti-Man?
Actually, it looks pretty cool. I like that. But if we're not going to keep black wheels, because I know Rob is going to want the silver wheels that they have.
It's going to be carbon wheels, right?
Oh, that's right. Actually, then I vote yes.
Yeah, because it picks up the hood scoop and it picks
I
up the
kind of
wing.
vote no because the roof isn't carbon. If the roof,
it'll still match though.
I mean, it's not a question of matching. It's just kind of like, I think a body color roof is cooler against the carbon wheels.
I don't know. I dislike the black roof on this color less than I thought I would.
I vote yes.
I'm going to go with yes too because it's only $700.
All right, I would go with no, but it's not a big deal to me at all.
I wish there was more of a top-down shot that you could get on that. But okay. So next, so we're no stripes at all, right?
Right.
We said okay.
I thought it was cool. What year did they make the glass roof available? I thought that was kind of cool, even though maybe it was kind of hokey, but I thought it was kind of cool.
I don't remember.
You guys don't remember that? It was like maybe
on a GT500.
No. It was just like a regular Mustang, but it was an option on like the GT. I forgot what it was called exactly, but basically the whole roof panel was made out of glass.
I feel like that was early S197 thing.
Yeah, so
like
it wasn't
07?
No, it wasn't the 05 to 09. It was what came after. I think it was the 10 through 12.
Okay.
Hey, Greg, can you option it with the manual transmission for us?
That's this.
No, Greg, we covered that last time.
No, Greg.
What is that?
One with
is there
actual manual with 3 pedals? Can we?
Greg, you keep saying, it's got 2 clutches. It could have 10 clutches. If it doesn't have a clutch pedal, it's not a manual.
Well, the funny thing is, automatics have clutch packs, so they still have clutches. But my question to you, Vinny, since you drove this, do they actually have one of these dumb dials in the GT500?
I don't remember making that selection, to be honest with you.
Okay, because if they...
What would the selector have been?
It might have been on the display. No, I guess maybe it was a knob. You know what? I don't recall, Greg.
I hate this knob stuff that's happening. Like, this isn't just like a Ford.
I hate having 2 pedals. I think it's insane. Like,
we talked about this last time, Rob. I think you would feel differently if you drove this car. It's a lot of fun. I'm not saying,
listen, all of the modern automatics are hands down better and faster than manual shifting cars. I got no argument. I mean, numbers are numbers. It's an empirical fact that today's slush boxes are better than a manual, but to me, you're just losing 40% of the driving experience, not rowing gears yourself. That's just...
Well, the thing is, though, I do believe you need 2 categories of automatics. You need torque converter and DCT because they are so different. I'm not denying that it's still an automatic transmission, but it's a different animal.
Okay.
So that's all our
since
options.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, so packages. carbon fiber handling package or carbon fiber track package.
Well, we got to investigate what each offers you.
Let's throw it on there. Ooh.
Well, hit the info button so
Yeah.
we can.
So we've got the 20 black painted. Why would you paint a carbon fiber wheel? That's
I don't know. You want the lightweight, but you don't like the way it looks.
Oh. Okay, and then you got adjustable strut top mounts. You got a catch can, the gurney flap on top of the swing, and then the splitter wickers.
Now, are
That
these
sounds very
two
British.
packages, are they compatible or it's one or the other?
I believe it's one or the other. Let's see. Can I add the second one? Yeah, it's an either or.
Okay, and what is the second offer? The exposed carbon wheels.
Exposed carbon wheels. You still get the strut top adjustments, catch can, exposed carbon fiber instrument panel, which I don't believe the carbon fiber handling package had. You get the wider Pilot Cup
Definitely.
Sport.
Definitely.
That's it right there. It's got to be
done.
Yeah, that's it.
Wheel lock. Yeah, I mean, it has, for so many reasons, you have to do it.
You're giving up heated, cooled, and memory seats. Oh no!
And look at that sweet wing.
It's not my favorite. Like yeah. Dang, I thought it was just a little trim piece on the spoiler, but
well, it is on the handling package. If you look right here.
Are those mounts? I can't quite make it out. Are those mounts on the hatch or on the fenders?
It looks like it's on the hatch.
All right, then
inward.
you do what Greg suggested with the ZL1 if you don't like the wing.
Man, those end plates do not work for me.
You just don't. You go on your Mustang forums and you find someone who has a hatch without the wing, and you.
Man, what a bummer.
Yeah, I'd even be okay. Like, I genuinely, like, let's look at this just real quick for a second.
What is it?
The wing on the standard carbon fiber package is okay.
I like that.
I like that too. I hate.
Yeah, look at the lines on that thing. I like the spoiler.
Yeah, the swing. If you really like it, and you have an S190, or I'm sorry, an S550, there are already Chinese copies of this on eBay for like $100, $150.
See, this is where I get into a conundrum because I want the 305s.
Me too.
I want the exposed carbon wheels, but
this one has exposed carbon wheels. But what? So if you don't get 305s, how wide are they?
No.
275s.
This one has black painted carbon wheels. You can't see the carbon finish.
Yeah,
and you can't. The exposed carbon is not an option. I thought Greg was saying that it was an option.
It is for the track package, but the track package gives you the pedestal wing.
That's so weird because when I was there and I was driving them at Sonoma, they had the exposed carbon wheels on a car that had the other spoiler.
Because it was probably a pre-production model and they hadn't figured out yet what goes with what.
Yeah.
I have a
That's
feeling.
Unfortunate.
I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that exposed carbon wheel is left there as a premium to try to bump up that last $8,500.
Yep.
Of course.
Well, for me, it's a must-have to get those 305s. So
I'll deal with the wing. I don't care.
I'll get the Chinese copy of the carbon fiber handling package wing on the eBay and swap those.
Yeah,
plus,
man,
look,
it just sucks because now we have to
interior.
finish. That's fine. Like it's definitely the better choice, but like now we have to build the rest of this car looking at that ugly wing.
Yeah, well, now you're in tune with what I've been griping about for the past like 2 or 3 builds, is that they don't offer any flexibility in these packages.
I mean, this is probably the least flexible of any Ford build we're going to do. Oh, wait, there's another handling. Wait, what?
Say what?
Oh, I'm guessing it's an instead of. Let's see. Let's try it. Yeah, it's an instead. Mine. So wait a minute, you can get the handling package for $1,750 or the carbon fiber handling package for $10,000.
But is the handling package, can you add that to the carbon fiber?
No, it's an either or.
We're already
And
at
same
93
with the
grand.
carbon fiber track package.
See, because you try to do that, it tries to take it away.
Okay, so
if we put
all
it back
three
to the-
packages are standalone, can't mix.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. All right, carbon fiber track package it is. I don't want to give up those carbon wheels, man.
Yeah,
No.
I don't blame you.
No, nor those 305 meats. And
Although, let's be honest, if you're really going to take this to the track, are you not going to just take those carbon fiber wheels off, shrink wrap them, and put them in your, loft?
No way, dude. Why would you do that?
Because I like to hit the apex curbs, and I'm not doing that with my carbon fiber wheels.
yeah,
Dude, if you're baller enough to like build one of these, like,
you know what I'd probably do? The originals, yeah, would go in my garage, and I'd get knockoff non-carbon knockoff wheels to destroy at the racetrack.
Or if
Probably.
you're really baller, you just get a second set of these, which are like,
Yeah,
I remember the replacement cost came out real early on, and it was something like 18 grand a set or something.
for just the wheels.
Just the
alone.
wheels replacement. Yeah, like because
Wow.
they didn't want people buying them.
Wow. And that's probably if you can locate them. I'm sure there's not a set sitting in a warehouse in America right now.
Well, I mean, I have seen these on like the forums for sale, and I've seen them as cheap as $4,000 a set. Again, $4,000 a set. If I really had that kind of wheel money, I would probably buy them. Like, not gonna lie.
Wow.
But yeah, being a normal person and having, not carbon fiber wheel money, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. When you have to decide between paying your mortgage or your exposed carbon fiber wheels, yeah, it's a problem.
All right. So what's the technology package?
That's just a nav. And
I mean, obviously we got to get it because we got them on all of them, right?
Yeah. And I don't drive cars without navs anymore, man. I love having built-in nav.
Man, that's a sharp looking interior, I gotta say.
It sure is. And you know what I really love? The dead center swatch of paint on the steering wheel.
Yeah, the
round steering wheel again from Ford.
It's flat bottom. Look,
that is not. It's okay. It's a dented steering wheel.
Yeah, it's pretty badass though. They put a TDC on that wheel, so at speed, you know.
You know what really upsets me about all this? Look where the buttons are. They are flipped from a regular Mustang.
Really? Why would they do that?
I'm guessing so that it's harder for me to take a GT500 wheel and put it in my EcoBoost. But yeah, no, it's all reversed. Like the music and audio controls and the phone controls are on the left side of my steering wheel, and then my little center nav and cruise. Actually, wait, no, the cruise is in the right spot. The cruise and the phone stuff are in the right spot.
I really hate the design of that steering wheel. It's so ugly.
Is there an option on the wheel?
No.
The interior options? No.
Oh, well, I don't know. Let's see. Wheel? Okay, we can't even touch these. Like these are. So we've got active valve.
Greg,
what's this?
Wait, but you're already moving on to the exterior stuff. What about the interior?
We haven't got
the interior's next.
This is going to be the shortest configuration we've ever done because there are basically no options.
Are we going to get the $400 vehicle cover with the Cobra logo?
Like I griped the last time, go to Covercraft and buy the best covers on the market from Covercraft for cheaper. Well, not necessarily cheaper, but they're better.
Oh, okay. So Rob, does this change your opinion? Because I know your big sticking point was the 305s.
Yeah, look, you can get the 4S.
Yeah, it's not the width that changes; it's the tire that changes.
And it's Michelin tires.
I noticed that. Yeah, hey. That's that pinky up. Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin. It's not Michelin.
Go back and see if you can select the other handling package and then still upgrade the tires later.
All right, let's see. Packages. Let's go back to carbon fiber handling.
Yeah, but we're still losing the exposed.
I know. I just want to see.
Wait, are we though? Let's see. Okay, yes, we are. Okay, so we are losing that. But can we put the better tires on it?
The better Michelins. Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
no. So we're
okay.
Stuck,
we're right back where we started.
Stuck with the better package with the worst wing.
Oh no.
all right. So now there's only one other option, and that's interior. Let's see what we get. Ebony with smoke gray accents or ebony with smoke gray accents.
Well, the difference is between a Recaro or a standard seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they would be the exact same colorway. Yeah, I would think there would be a little more like what were we doing when was it the Mach 1 that you could get like a blue trimmed Recaro even
I wasn't invited to build the Mach 1. So
oh my gosh. Rob, how are you going to hold that against us forever?
I'm full of piss and vinegar about that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it's only a one production model a year, right, Greg?
Yep. Well, I don't know. They might keep going. I don't know.
Historically, have they done multiple years of the Mach 1?
Yeah, there's been 2 years because because it was only the 04, wasn't it?
I thought it was 03.
Okay, then there was no 304. So it was a 2-year Mach 1.
The original Mach 1 was 2 years, right? 69 and 70.
Yep. And then they did which ones for the next generation? In the third gen, or is that still the second gen? How does they do it for Mustangs? The second gen, where does second gen start and then end? Would it be 69, 70? Is that just like its own generation? Because it's its own body style.
Oh, you're not talking about Mach 1 generations. You're talking about.
No, I'm just talking about Mustang generations.
Well, first generation ended in 66.
Really? Oh yeah, because 67 and 68 look. They had their own.
68 were the bullet body style, and 69, 70 were sort of, I call it the boss body style.
Oh yeah.
And then 71 came my least favorite body style.
You like it better than
forever
like
body style?
You like it better than like the Mustang too?
Oh, well, that's not a Mustang.
Thank you.
Come on, that was a Pinto.
It says Mustang on the side of some of them.
So does a Mach E.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once again, tarnishing the Mustang name.
Yeah.
You know, they stopped making the Camaro for a few years, but at least they didn't make a SUV version.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
I wonder if the Mach E has Michelin tires or Michelin.
So rear seat delete on the track package. Does that change anything for anybody? It doesn't.
I think that's cool.
I think the carbon track package, you can only have rear seat delete.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't change anything for anybody?
You know,
right?
I was really hoping to take my kids to soccer practice with this thing.
Hell yeah, dude. If I had kids, I would be like, of course. Dude, if I had kids, I would be like reprimanded from the school for doing smoky burnouts when I dropped them off and picked them up.
I don't want anybody scuffing up the interior of my $96,000 Mustang.
Yeah, we're not even done with it yet. Yeah, seriously.
Like, even, and if you were buying a Demon for $1, you could add a passenger seat. You didn't even get a passenger seat with the Demons, and then that's how I like it.
I don't want some little ankle biter dropping sticky candy in my back seat, dude.
Exactly.
Well, boys, we are out of options. Like, we didn't get to choose. I think we made like three or four choices.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. So we are at, what's our final destination?
96 to 90.
Well, that's the net.
Does that include gas guzzler? And
no, that's the net price. We still got to find the.
See how much they'll give me a trade in for my Monte Carlo.
You want to try it?
No.
All right. So I mean, we're significantly over the ZL1.
Mm-hmm. And as far as price, yeah. I mean, 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we didn't have anything to argue about, other than the color, I guess. But I liked the one that we picked.
no witty repartee today, except for asking Greg to outfit it with that manual transmission.
All right. So, I mean, here's our car. Let's get the picture.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, where's?
You just go back to the. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
96 grand on a Ford.
So that's what 96 grand buys you from the blue oval.
To be honest with you guys, and I love the GT500, and I would be proud as hell to own and drive one. I probably, if it was for me, and it's not so much a money thing. I mean, it is, but you know, if I was determined to have this car, to be honest with you, I would probably build it without one of the track packs. Because, you know, the carbon fiber wheels are cool. I'd want the wider wheels and you know, the Michelin 305s, but $18,000 for that. $18,000 for that. I'd probably go without it.
I mean,
Like you're still being frugal, right? Like in my fantasy world, money is no object. So at that point, it's like, I'll just get it, you know?
That's all fine and dandy that you're saying that, bud. But remember, we're about to assign value numbers and stuff to it. And $18,000 for what you're getting here, as opposed to whatever the what was the package we put on the ZL1?
It's like the same performance handling package.
I mean, which was like less than half that price, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was like $7 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
And we've established in the past that like that was like our perceived like best value. So I agree with what you're saying. Like
I was just going to say, be prepared for, you know, my value votes to go way, way down in comparison.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to honestly, I mean, it's not like a snotty or snobby thing, but putting down
it's just
six figures on a Ford, that's a tough sell for me. It'd be a tough sell on a Dodge. It'd be a tough sell on any of the three cars that we're comparing here. $100,000.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's a lot of money. You're getting into 911 territory. You're getting into a whole heap of cars.
You know how much mustache wax I could buy with that, Rob?
I mean, I'm not even going to say anything, because last time I thought I was being super generous to the ZL1, and my numbers didn't add up. So I have a gut feeling that I'm going to sit here and say, "Oh, I love it," blah blah blah, and I don't know that my numbers are going to add up.
Well, let's go to them.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's.
How we feel.
Greg, are you going to be able to handle the Googling of these like numbers and whatnot?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Are you tracking everybody's numbers? Everybody's scores? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last time the big Rob fail.
Well, I wrote all mine down, but if Vinny's tracking them, I don't need to write them down.
Okay. So like last time, I think we should start with Rob. And also just because I put his name first, so.
So what's the first category?
It's power, horsepower, torque. Yeah.
Well, that's clearly a 5, right?
Yeah, I mean, because we're at what? Oh, of course, I clicked the wrong thing.
700.
760.
760. Yeah, I mean that's a 5. If we do a Hellcat Red Eye, it'll be beaten, but there's no way you can assign a value to this car anything other than a 5. Let's be honest. I mean,
well, but that brings up an interesting point. It's not but we established that we were not going to do a red eye, or we were.
We haven't figured it out yet.
No, we hadn't fought that out yet. That's for
but here's the thing. I mean, you know, we said last time, like in terms of power, clearly the ZL1 got a 3 out of me, because I said there are 2 other cars that are
Well above it, yeah.
Well above it. But, you also got to figure, I mean, in terms of pure horsepower, yeah, this would be a 4. And if we do a red eye, it's a 5. But I find it hard to go under a 5.
I get what you're saying. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Okay, how about this?
What's the actual number for this thing?
The actual number for this is 760 and 625.
Okay.
How about this? I would go a 4.5 just because if we do a red eye, the red eye.
I'm just saying that's the top dog. Like it's got the literal highest numbers.
You just convinced me. I'm gonna go 4.5.
And I mean that argument actually.
I would have said 4.9, but because they're so close, or like 4.7 or whatever.
But they're not close. If we do a red eye, it's 797.
That's
horsepower.
37 horsepower.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's
5%.
Yeah.
5%.
But that's a far cry from where the Camaro was. You're talking 200 horsepower almost.
Yeah.
So now
I'm going 4.5.
You got it.
Now
I changed my mind.
Your argument from last week, I'm actually going to carry it over, and that's why I'm giving this a 5, even though it's 37 horsepower less.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to notice it except at the very extremes
Top
of
end.
performance.
You'll never notice it on the street either, Greg.
Yeah,
there's
so
no street in the world that you're gonna...
So I'm going to give it a 5 because the Hellcat is going to get a 5 as well. But I'm giving it a 5. Like that's
fair enough.
Okay, I give it a 4.8.
How much I need.
Gotcha.
So
I'm not going to argue with you because that's where I was at to begin with. But then Vinny opened his mouth, and
I'm not a number guy, but I mean that's like in my mind when we created the list, that's how I envisioned us measuring them, right? Like we're literally measuring the cars against each other. So if this one has a higher horsepower output numerically, then I have to give it more points than the other one. So if I know the other one's going to get a 5 and this one has less, I can't give it the same score.
You're right. I mean, that's how I feel about it now. So I give it 4.5. And if we do a red eye, there you go. We'll know what that is for me.
All right. So our next one's going to be handling.
I'm going to defer to Vinny on this because I've never driven one, number one. And number two, offhand, I don't know the skid pad or slalom.
I can give you the skid pad right now. Can
you also give me the ZL1?
I got Google, so.
Okay.
While Greg is Googling that, I will tell you, Rob, I did several laps around Sonoma Raceway in this car, as you know, and just 2 weeks prior to that, I had been driving the newest Hellcat around Bondurant, at the time, which is now what's the name of the new racing school out there, Greg?
I don't remember the name.
Radford. Yeah, it's now called Radford, but at the time it was called Bondurant. And I had been driving the new Hellcat out there, and so I had a pretty good comparison. And while people criticize the handling capabilities of the Challenger platform, it's a very capable car. This was worlds better. I mean, it made a very novice driver like myself feel like an advanced driver. I could probably spend months and months behind the wheel of this car, and I wouldn't be able to find its limit. It's the braking is incredible. You can wait that second longer, to brake. The confidence in the grip is just it's constantly there, right? Like anytime you throw it into a turn. That morning it was pretty wet, right? So it's in the Bay Area, Sonoma Raceway, as you know. So the track was damp, and going into the first turn, or I guess it was turn 2, was the only time it got loose on me, and that's because the track was still damp. But by the time I was done with the track session, it was dry, and I couldn't make it, break loose again. it's an incredibly well handling car. That's all I'll say.
So,
Greg, the numbers to back that up are?
The ZL1, I've actually found two different results.
Okay.
One is being reported from Chevy as 1.02G.
Wow.
However,
Impressive.
if you go with Motor Trend, they are saying 1.11. Now,
Okay.
Go with Chevy.
That could be a difference in temperature of during the day, the road surface, the driver's sense of the limits. We're also not sure how, are we sure that both cars were equipped the same way with the track package? Or?
No, it's
okay. So it's a ballpark, but it's somewhere between 1 and what was the top number again?
1.11.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a 0.1 spread or 0.08 spread.
Right. And the GT500?
1.13 across the board for everything reported.
So I think I can't exactly recall what I voted for on the ZL1 to tell you the truth.
I believe you voted it at a 4.
Rob, you voted a 4. Greg also 4.
Well, I'd go 4.5 again in this category. I mean, there's always a car out there that's going to outhandle this, but as Vinny said, we are comparing these three cars, and it's marginally better in terms of handling than the ZL1. So I'll give it that extra half point.
Yeah. Having driven it, I know that it's incredibly controllable. You can, it's very predictable. It's just a fantastic driving experience. I can't say that enough. So I give it a 5 because Greg, you gave us the numbers to bolster that argument. And I guarantee that both of those cars have a better skid pad number than the Challenger. So
yeah.
5. I mean, without a doubt, 5. The S550 chassis is just so refined. One thing I've noticed about the S550 chassis just in general is even though all of these cars are heavier weight, the S550 hides that weight. You don't feel it. So I mean that's a 5. Like go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
I was just gonna say with a heavier car, like all of the Mopar products, they still handle well, but you feel the weight and you are conscious of the weight. Not the Mustang lineup. It's
the other metric that we used last week when we were talking about the Camaro was the Nürburgring times, and the Camaro held that benchmark for a long time, and this thing just blew it out of the water by, I think, what was it, like 15 seconds or something?
I think it was 106 versus like just touching 10, or I'm sorry, 706.
It was 7. Exactly. Yeah. So it was a good amount of time. I know it was 7:16 with the Camaro, and it was 7:01. So we're talking about 15 seconds.
I'd give it a 5 too, but I've never driven the thing, so it's a tough one for me. Of these three cars, this is clearly the best handling car. I'd probably give it a 5 without thought if I had been behind the wheel of it, but I just haven't yet been so lucky. So
you might not like it. There's not a whole lot of heel toe going on.
Why you gotta stir up old stuff?
We gotta keep going back to that, Greg. It's the only fun we're having today.
Yeah, well, it is something to think about though, because if you're used to tracking a car that you're manually shifting, it plays an important role, right? Like especially like going into a turn like that, as you know, Greg. When you go to shift, you put the clutch in, and you can use that weight shift to turn the car and make it do what you want.
Yeah.
So it's important.
it's kind of the reverse of like throttle steer almost, and it's something, I'm not a novice driver, and I'm pretty good at determining the limits of the car. I'm very versed in threshold braking and stuff like that. And nonetheless, your talents are limited when you're, in a sense, when you're driving a manual car, because in order to get the same lap time out of a manual car as like a automatic, DCT car, your lap has to be, you're downshifting, your throttle blipping, your clutch work, your steering input, everything has to be dead perfect. Whereas with the automatic, there's margins of, you have a little bit margin of error because so much of that is taken care of for you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's what I was alluding to when I told you, Rob. It made me feel like a much better driver than I am.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But you touched on something that I think we should talk about, and that's the brakes on this thing. I mean, they're massive, massive carbon brakes, 15-inch rotors. I mean, they're bigger than the original wheels that came on the first GT500.
Yeah, I assume the fronts are 6-piston and the rears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're the only, because of the GT Performance package and Bullet and Mach 1, they all use a 6-piston front and a single piston rear.
Is it Brembo AP?
It's Brembo.
Brembo.
Yeah, and that did matter too. When you're talking about trail braking and it just that all of that added to the handling of the car. So I feel very confident giving this one the 5.
Yeah. The next is going to be interior, and I'm not going to lie, that's an easy 5 for me. It's comfortable for me. Obviously, I daily drive a very similar interior. Everything's in the right spot. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna prove that I am not just going to whitewash 5s across the board for this. I'm gonna ding it for that stupid rotary knob transmission selector.
Well,
I don't like that.
Look at who's showing his lack of bias today. I like that. I'm very proud of you.
But the question is, how much do I ding it? Because I really don't like the knob.
A whole point.
No, I can't do a whole point. I can't do a whole point. But I
5
don't
points.
like
this guy's biased.
But yeah, I do not like, even when we had the preview up of the interior and that stupid knob is there, that ruins it. Ruins it.
I tell you guys, I've only driven one car that had one. I think my Grand Cherokee was in the shop and they gave me a Chrysler. It was either a 200 or a 300 that had a rotary knob transmission. And I mean, it's the devil's business. It was created by Satan himself. I hated it. I kept automatically going for a gear shift lever. It wasn't there. And where Chrysler had actually mounted the wheel was not intuitive. It was just a disaster for me. I was driving it for like a week, and I loved the car, but I hated that knob. So I can appreciate, Greg, that you're willing to take something off of your beloved Mustang.
I'm gonna go 4.7. Okay. Like it's a big deal to me. Like that really, it's not a deal breaker, but it is a big oof for me.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you where I'm at. Clearly the GT500's interior, I think, is a slight step above the ZL1. But being a Challenger owner, I actually love the interior of the Challenger, owing to its space and a layout that I'm really familiar with and is very intuitive. I think Dodge did a superb job refreshing the interior on the Challenger in 2015 and up. So again, I'm going to go 4.5 on this. No, you know what, Greg, look up what I what I had.
You gave it a 4?
One. I gave it a 4.
A 4 on the Camaro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.5 then, because also I hate the rotary knob.
Yeah,
and I've never even driven the car, and I can tell you I hate it.
Yeah,
so
it just looks wrong.
I gave the Camaro a 4 because there are some things that I don't care for in the Camaro. Although I think the GT500's overall quality is better. I don't like the layout as much. You guys know how much I hate the steering wheel. And when I drove it, I didn't like the displays as much.
The car you drove had the digital cluster or analog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it had the digital cluster and it had like the big infotainment screen. So I didn't. That was okay. I like the Challengers better, like you said, Rob. The Camaro's not much better. I actually like the GT500s better in that aspect. But the one thing that I really would have liked to have seen, especially with like such a track-focused car, is a heads-up display, like I mentioned to you guys the last time we did this.
Yeah.
And so this is a tough one for me because like I don't want to give it less than a 4, but at the same time, if I was really scoring it, I would give the Camaro the slight edge. So I give this thing a 3.9.
Interesting.
Because I gave the Camaro a 4 last week. So
there you go.
I got to be fair.
Fair enough.
All right. The next one is just performance. So I'm guessing we decided that was like 0 to 60 times, right?
Yeah, quarter mile, 0 to 60,
mile, 0 to
60 to 0.
60 to
0. All those fun metrics.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty simple one. The car gets a 5 as far as I'm concerned. It's out of the 3, likely the 3 that we're going to do. It depends on whether we go red eye or standard Challenger. This is the in spite of the red eye having more horsepower, this is actually a fractionally faster car.
Yep. Yeah, which one has a faster quarter mile, Greg?
Let's see. I'm looking at the 0 to 60, which the GT500 takes across the board.
Of course.
It's listed from.
It's like a couple of tenths.
Yeah,
as I recall.
1070 at 133. The Hellcat or the red eye, I'm sorry, is a 10th slower, and the ZL1 is half a second slower than that. Well, 6/10 actually.
The red eye is a 10th slower
than the GT500.
Golly,
dude, you got to remember the red eye is a 4,600 pound car. You're talking not as major a weight differential as, let's say, between a GT Mustang and a regular Hellcat.
I mean, it's still 500 pounds.
Yeah,
this is like 41 and change.
Yep,
and that's it. You only got one seat.
But no, the red eye you get the full complement of seats, unless you do a rear seat delete. But it comes down to weight. I mean, it's unquestionably a car with more horsepower is slower than this car. The only part of the equation it's deductive reasoning that it has to do with weight. So GT500 gets a 5.
5 here.
Can't argue with that.
Yep.
The numbers don't lie.
All right. So that's now 5s across the board. And now here's where we have to be critical of the, well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want, right? But price.
Guys, $100,000 on a Ford. I mean, after tax and gas guzzler, what were we at? 96?
Well, no, we were at 96 net.
Minus those things, right? That's what I'm saying. So you're talking a 6-figure car, and that would be a horse pill to me.
Before we get there, guys, I think we need to take a word from our sponsors.
Performance parts for your American Classic are available from POL at performanceonline.com. POL is the perfect upgrade for your classic car or truck. Whether you're hitting the strip or going on a road trip, POL's performance braking, steering, suspension, fuel injection, exhaust, radiators, rear ends, and more are top notch and can be seen in our showroom floor. Cruise on down to our show-stopping showroom and take a look at our brand new Blackout Series parts, or order POL parts from performanceonline.com and have them shipped straight to your garage.
And we're back. What's going on, guys?
Well, we were discussing price on this sucker.
Right when we were going to get to the good stuff. Rob, I know
I don't know if this is good stuff or not, man. I mean,
well, to me, it's not good stuff, because although I'd love me a GT500, I wouldn't love me a six-figure Ford. And that's not palatable to me. And also, $18,000 on a track package, carbon fiber wheels are dope. The Michelin tires are dope. That wing is not dope, but it can be dealt with. I can't swallow an $18,000 on what it really affords you, which is mere tenths in terms of the actual performance. The Dodge Demon, when you optioned it with the Demon crate and this and that, and there weren't a lot of options on the Demon, but the ones that you had, you could push six figures on the car. I think you could come in at just over $100,000 on the car, maxed out. But they only built like 2,300 of those. And it was a very, very special, very focused car. It came with Nito, drag tires. It was a level of exclusivity above what we're talking about here. And I'd be hard pressed to spend $100,000 on a Dodge. I mean, you're getting into serious high end, like M Power BMW, 911, Porsche Cayman type money. And although this car can hang with those performance wise, there's just something about spending. A Ford is not supposed to be $100,000. Let's put it that way. Like, for years, we all feel comfortable with the fact that if you want to climb into a Porsche, you're going to spend six figures. If you want to climb into a BMW M8 or M5, you're going to spend six figures.
How much is a GT? I'm sorry,
400.
A Ford GT.
$400,000.
About 400. Yeah, high threes.
Jeez, but on that same, in that same vein of thought, I mean, hell, how much can you spend on a Raptor? We haven't done a truck build yet, but I think you could probably build one for close to $100,000.
But that's a truck, they're all ridiculously priced anyway.
Look, it's just I've been on this planet for 51 years, and for 51 years, Ford has represented something to me. Dodge, all of these cars, all these brands. I've come accustomed to what they offer at what price point. And this is very unusual. The Ford GT is sort of, for me, a separate category, because
I know that's a little different. It's a little different.
I mean, you're talking about a completely carbon fiber vehicle, and there are reasons why it's that expensive.
Is it just a sign? This might be a bigger conversation for us to have, but is it just a sign of the times? I mean, we did talk about this in the past, right? Like, the production quality of the American automobile has just improved by leaps and bounds over the past few decades, right? So now, are we just like accustomed to a more reasonable price tag for those cars? And now, I think, that's being passed on?
But here's the thing. I think all three automakers, Chevy, Ford, and Chrysler, clearly they've been in a horsepower war for a number of years now. They are the big three in terms of American muscle, and they've been trying to outdo each other for a while now. And one of the ways they do it is with a halo car, okay? A car that they know they're not going to make a lot of, a car they know they're not going to sell a lot of. and a car that basically just represents the apex of what they are capable of doing, given the, you know, the architecture, the chassis that they're dealing with. And for Dodge, it was the Demon. For Chevy, they really haven't, I don't think the ZL1 is the maximum you could actually do with that car. I think if they wanted to,
it would be a Corvette.
Yeah, it would probably, yeah, you're right. And this is a halo car, you know, with the track pack, the carbon track package and everything. This is the end all be all of what Ford can do with this architecture. And I'm just going to flat out say it. It's not worth $100,000 to me. I'd be looking in other directions. How much is speaking of a Corvette, when they come out with the Z06 and eventually a ZR1, you know, that Z06 is not going to be $100,000. I can assure you of that. And it'll blow the doors off of this GT500.
I don't know about that, because I think the Z06 will be naturally aspirated.
The Z06 weighs about 600 pounds, will weigh about 600 pounds less than this.
I agree with Rob. I think it will too, but you're not exactly comparing apples to apples, right? So like, okay, this is their halo car, and that would not, first of all, that wouldn't be Chevy's halo car. The ZR1 would be.
Yeah.
And second of all, they're too different. I mean, the Camaro or the Mustang is too different from a Corvette.
Yeah, you're talking a pony car versus a true sports car. And you're talking now, agreed, you're talking about a mid-engine sports car on top of that. So it's even got a completely different, you know, configuration than what we're talking about. But nonetheless, $100,000 Ford GT aside is too dear for me. Like I said before, if I was lucky enough to own a GT500, I would option it in such a way that I would leave off the carbon track pack, and it would probably come in the high 70s in that configuration. And I could do that in a heartbeat, but I just have a philosophical problem with 100K on a Ford. So I'm going to give price a 3.
And that's fair. I actually think that's a high rating for as poorly, or as you know what I mean?
But you are getting a hell of a lot of performance out of this car. I'm not saying that, you know, money wise, it's not, you know, the performance doesn't match the dollar figure. What I'm saying is I got a problem philosophically paying $100,000 for a Ford. I mean, that's my basic argument. But
you said it just right now for me, man. When you look at the performance metrics, it's so far the highest scoring. I mean, granted, we've only done 2, but I don't, you know, we're under 100 grand, just barely, but we're under 100 grand.
Net.
The ZL1 was at almost 80, right? 77 and some change. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're pretty far apart, but they're not that far apart. And I think, you know, if we're comparing them, that means that I have to give this one a higher score than the Camaro, because you get more performance. Yeah, you pay for it, but you're paying, you know, what, 20 grand?
That's not chump change.
No, it's not. It's not. That's what's the percentage there, Greg?
You're looking at about 16%.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit.
To buy you a pretty nice Harley, or, you know, whatever you.
Yeah, but
you ride.
That's you know, me, the actual person. I have to separate myself from that and look at it like, you know, we're measuring these things against each other. And to me, you know, I look at the value, like, yeah, the price is astronomical, right? But I think the value is there because you're getting the best performance out of the 3. You know, I mean, we look at the handling, we look at the performance. It's, you know, the horsepower, all that. It beats the other 2 by quite a bit, actually. So I don't know. At the same time, if you were going to go buy one, right? Like they're not like if you're going to have one built, how long would it take to get one versus like finding one that's already been built?
I don't these days, who knows with the chip shortage and all that, who knows?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, right now you can't even order a Hellcat with a manual transmission because they have no ZF 6-speeds.
So you would wait for a long time. So most people, if they're in the market for one of these, they're going to go buy one from that's already been made. Mm-hmm. And the dealer markup on these things is insane. They're like, 120 grand. Mm-hmm. So that's, but I have to just look at what we did here today, which is a little bit less than 100. I give it a 4.
Wow.
See, if I don't share Rob's problem with $100,000 Mustang. It is the best performing Mustang ever. It is the most expensive Mustang ever. But we're not talking about just a Mustang. We're comparing it against 2 other cars in class. When you start looking at the price difference per performance difference, not overall performance, because again, I have no problem with the price. Just by itself, not being compared, I'm good with it. I feel like you have to kind of critique this harshly because you're paying for over the ZL1, you're paying what are we at?
76.
Yeah, so you're paying
77.
20 grand.
Yep.
For a 1/10 of a second in the quarter mile.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty tough. Mm-hmm. You're paying a 1/10 of a second for 0.02 G in the skid pad. But you're paying 20 grand for 15 seconds on the Nürburgring. So if we're doing it, that kind of messes things up. But it's a lot of money.
You wrote about drag racing for a long time. How much do guys spend on 1/10 of a second?
At this level, turn up the boost a little bit. But seriously, $350 for a new blower pulley, a little bit smaller.
And a tuner.
I mean, seriously, at this level, a 1/10 of a second should not be costing 20. I mean, if we're talking full on race cars, I mean, you want to go.
You can't get carbon wheels on a ZL1.
I'm just saying, I don't.
Well, you just eliminate that track package, and you're right back to, in the ballpark of the ZL1.
So where's your head at numbers wise?
I'm thinking I agree with you with a 3. I don't know that this price is that warranted. I mean, I don't want to say that. It's hard for me to justify the extra money for the difference.
Performance. Yeah.
But if we weren't comparing it to the 2, I have nothing bad to say about the car. But when you've got just as capable, especially with the ZL1, just as capable in most aspects and significantly cheaper, it makes the price not as appealing. Mm-hmm. So I have to give it a lower number, which I know will be compounded when we divide everything by the price again. So I got to give it a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. All right. That brings us to
status,
X factor, status, collectability, exclusivity, availability, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Last time we launched into our discussion that we've had before, that these aren't true limited edition cars where they've got a set number that they're going to build and then no mas. So I have to weigh that versus I've never seen a GT500 on the street. Conversely, they are rare. And I think right now Greg's right. I as I mentioned, being a Mopar guy, I spend a lot of time on the forums and I see what's going on, the chip shortages, the ZF manual transmission shortage that's going on right now. They're saying they're not even going to be able to build a 6-speed standard Hellcat, not the Red Eye, which is unavailable with a manual.
I'm sorry. Wait, what? You can't do Red Eye with a stick?
No,
what?
Because of the.
There's
a very good reason for it.
Yeah, because Mopar drivers can't handle stick shift and a lot of horsepower. What?
This one can. This one can. I own 2 Mopar stick shift products. So, But I'm familiar. Like you're not even gonna be able to receive, even if you ordered it right now, you're not going to receive your 6-speed Hellcat until October at the earliest. And all of this adds into how rare a GT500 is versus the fact that it's not a true limited edition car. I think I gave the ZL1, if I'm not mistaken, like a 3.5 or a 4 in this regard.
Let's
3.
see.
We
We all gave it a 3. Yeah.
I got to go higher than the ZL1 because I think I don't have empirical numbers to back this up, but it's my intuition that the GT500 is a rarer car, possibly owing to the price difference we're seeing between these two vehicles. There's going to be fewer people that are willing to part with 6 figures for this car versus 76, let's say, on the ZL1. So I will give this a 4.
4, you said?
A 4, yeah.
Go. Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything to add to what Rob said. I think, the reason that they're rare is because they're more expensive. I've only seen like one on the road. I give it a 3.5.
I am at a 5. It is the best Mustang to ever roll off a line. It's amazing. You look at it at rarity. I have never seen one in person that wasn't at a Ford display or a media event or whatever. I've never just seen one in the wild. Compared to like 3 ZL1s. And when we get into Mopar, you are not going to like me on this one in the Mopar. I'll just say that. So,
hey, did you by chance knock your pot for your mic volume? Because you're a little lower than you.
Oh, no, I'm just sitting away from it.
Okay.
I rolled back. So, I mean, the 5, this is definitely a 5. This is the best Mustang ever, period. End of story. Even with the crappy wheel, right?
Better than the Mach-E?
Mustang. I'm gonna ignore that. As a Mustang guy, this is the pinnacle of Mustang performance.
Let me ask you a question. Is Shelby American doing a Super Snake version? Do you know?
I don't know, but those have never wowed me. Like
really?
the Super Snake, that's an aftermarket deal. That's not, because
but coming from Shelby American,
but I don't consider that factory. I mean, yes, it is a factory because they that's all they do. But this is the best Mustang. I mean, like it's a 5. It's pinnacle. It's the peak. Like if you have a batter ass GT500. Then that's a different story. But
can't argue with that, Greg. I mean, it's got that X factor for sure.
Yeah, so that's a solid.
But we could say that about the other two too, right? Like this is the best Camaro ever made. This is the best Challenger ever made.
I'm not surprised.
Those are facts.
I am very surprised actually that you only gave your ZL1 a 3 with that.
Because I mean, it's like Rob said, you see them all the time. There's not really anything special about them other than the fact that they're awesome. And I felt like it was weighted pretty heavily, like throughout the rest of the metrics, right? Like I already gave it points for being awesome. So I couldn't just say like, oh, well, I like it, so I'm giving it at 5 extra points. It's more for me about like, that the status of owning one, like compared to the other two. And it falls short of the Mustang and some of the Challengers, right? Like the status that you get owning, although I would argue that it's been a little bit watered down because there's so many of them, but the Hellcat just has a status because of the name and people love them. So yeah, I only gave it a 3, but this one I gave it a 3.5 because it's got more performance, and they're more rare, but not that much more rare. So I don't know. I just gave it a little bit more.
Yeah, I just feel like this is exclusive. I don't know. It is. I mean, it is.
It's exclusive, paying $100,000 for a Ford.
I mean, it is, and in my Ford world, that it is the top tier. I mean, put it this way. I mean, dollars aside, you hold up two keys, one with a Ford GT and one with a GT500, and you say you can have one, but you can't sell it because I would just flip it and buy four. You can't sell it, but you can keep it. I'm grabbing the GT500.
I probably would too. It's a more practical car.
Yeah, like
I'd be constantly worried about my Ford GT also. You know, it's a much higher level of you know, much more money, 4 times as much money. And, you know, when the invariable LA idiot driver slams into your Ford GT, you're going to be a lot more upset about that than your GT500. And you get a pretty good percentage of the performance in the GT500.
Where you actually beat the GT in the quarter mile.
Is that right?
What?
Yeah, 10th
about the looks?
Okay, looks. I'm just gonna say it. It's gorgeous. It's a 5. It is. I hate to go back to this hole, but it is the best looking Mustang ever. The front bumper with the angular, especially when you get in like iconic, like we were talking about earlier, where it just the shadows fall off and they all complement the color and the angles complement, you know, the way everything looks. Yeah, that's a 5 for me. That's
I love the way the GT500 looks. I think it's a really great balance between muscle and a touch of elegance to it. Like, you know, the retro era that preceded this, I actually liked more than this version of the Mustang because I'm kind of into retro design in general. I'm a Challenger fan, which is the most retro of these 3 cars. But certainly this version, this generation of the Mustang has a touch more elegance to it. It's not quite as brutal, not quite as muscly, but at the same time, the GT500 accoutrements that they add onto the basic platform bring that level of muscle back. I think it's a really well-styled car inside and out. And if I didn't just love the Challenger's design, which for me is one of the best car designs to my eye of the past like 25 years, I would give the GT500 a 5. But since we are going to review a Challenger, I'm just going to give it a 4.5, which is not to say I don't love the GT500. It's just that I love the looks of the Challenger just a tiny bit more.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Very fair.
For me, I think we've, as you've established, Rob, we've kind of left that retro design phase of like muscle car manufacturing. And I think the Mustang and the Camaro both did that very well. The Challenger still pretty much looks the same, which is fantastic. Always has ever since they reintroduced it. But I have to so then I have to compare the Camaro and the Mustang a little bit more. And I like what both companies have done. Last time we did this, I gave the Camaro a 4. And so I don't think this one looks any better to me than the ZL1. I think they're about the same. I was going to give this one a 4, but I really like the carbon wheels. So I gave it a 4.1 because that's not available on the Camaro. So there you go.
Okay. So
Greg, you want to tally?
Yeah. So I'm looking at mine, and it's actually I'm not gonna. We learned I should not try to do this in my head, didn't I? Last time. All right. So we got 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus no.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't let Greg do the numbers.
How do we know he's being honest with these two?
Yeah.
There's my
I'm not good at math.
There's no. I'm not good at a calculator apparently either.
Just assuming Greg is being honest with us. I don't
5
know.
plus 5 plus 4.7 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5. So 32.7 for me.
Okay.
And then who's yours or Rob's next?
You want me to feed them to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rob's going to be 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 3, 4, 4.5.
30 even. Wow. So Rob was a 30. And then what were yours?
Okay, so mine were 4.8, 5, 3.9, 5, 4, 3.5, 4.1.
You scored it higher than Rob did by 0.3. All right. So I'm not as far ahead of you guys as you might think. So I was 32.7, Rob was 30, and Vinny, you were 30.3. So when we divide in, what are we going to use for the number? Because we used a final destination. Should we just use 96 or should we?
Yeah, I think we should just do it off of what's displayed there.
Okay. So we're going to go 96,000 divided by 32.7. Whew. Ooh, actually, I'm looking at last week's numbers. This is going to be close. This is kind of cool. So I'm not going to tell you what they are yet.
I figured it would be.
I mean, it's not anywhere near as close, or it's closer than $20,000 suggests.
That's
right. So
that's what I figured.
1,000 divided by 30, and then 96,000 divided by 30.3.
This is riveting stuff, Rob.
I'm just vibrating in my seat, waiting for these.
All right, so last week our low and high, the low was $2,800 per point. The high was $3,019 per point. Here, our low is $2,935 a point, and our high is $3,168 a point. So it's really,
and what was the Camaros?
The Camaros was $2,905 and on the low end and $3,019 on the high end.
Wow.
It is closer than I thought it was going to be honest.
Especially,
I think maybe my 3 in the value department or in the exclusivity department might have skewed things. That was pretty much the lowest.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at it, we're only maybe 200, less than $200 a point difference on the most expensive.
Wow.
That's quite a bit though.
It is, but it's only, I mean, that's only what's 200 divided by, or 30 divided by 200.
And we're only talking about $30 a point on the low end.
Yeah. On the low end, $30 a point.
That's kind of what I was trying to say about the, that X factor score, Greg.
Yeah. I mean, that's so basically.
Or excuse me, the when we were discussing the price originally.
Yeah, because it comes out to be the 2905 was yours on the Camaro. You were the biggest fan of the Camaro. I was obviously the biggest fan of the Mustang, and we are $30 apart.
And I came in dead center on both.
On both, yeah.
Maybe when we're done with the Hellcat, we should do the average, compare averages.
Sure.
Yeah, add both of them up or all three of them up and then divide them. Yeah.
And have one final definitive score.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to be harsh. I don't think unfairly harsh, but I do know there's some areas where I'm gonna be very harsh on the Mopar.
Well, I mean, the Camaro is a better value.
I don't want to be unfair to the Mopar because it is an amazing car, like they are, but
Yeah, but now you know even more how to game the system, Greg. And we know you like to cheat.
Got to make sure that Ford wins.
I think the price pretty much means the Ford is never going to win.
Well,
yeah,
we're going to have to see because, you know, in fairness, even though I'm a Mopar guy, believe me, I wish that it had been already put like that they had redesigned it to like the Alfa Romeo Giorgio platform. It's overdue, the Challenger, for, you know, to put it in proper scale. The first time I saw a Challenger on the road, I was like, wow, I love that design, but that thing's the size of a Nimitz class aircraft carrier.
And it's been around for 13 years.
Yeah, clearly, you know, it's going to get hit in terms of handling, and we'll have to wait and see. But
can I also just point out, it just dawned on me as I'm looking at these numbers, the raw numbers between the Camaro and the Mustang is significantly higher.
That would come out of performance.
Yeah, I mean, but just overall, we're talking the lowest just raw score was 30, and the lowest raw score of the Camaro was 25.5, which was me. Mm-hmm. The highest raw score was Vinny at 27.5, and the highest raw score here was me at 32.7.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's not surprising though.
It's not surprising at all, because you are kind of talking about a different echelon of power.
I didn't think it would be that much though.
Yeah, but that's exactly why we designed it this way, right? Dividing it by the price and stuff, just because we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I think now is a good time to wrap today's episode up. Rob, I want to thank you so much for coming back on again. Greg,
it's always my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us as always. Getting your guys' insight into how you would build a car, the options you would take. It's become like one of my favorite parts about this show, because you guys' thought process is a little bit different than mine. I think we've seen, and you guys have swayed me on some things, right? Definitely influenced my scoring, that's for sure. So everybody at home, please let us know if you agree with our scores, who you agree with most. Probably Rob or Greg, definitely not me. But yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Jim McElvain from Optima Batteries, and I'm here today to talk about why batteries aren't made like they used to be. You've heard people say that, and it's true. Batteries aren't made like they used to be made. They're made better than ever, but people are still having battery problems. So why is that? Because new vehicles are more demanding than ever on their batteries. I came out here in a Chevrolet Silverado that had air-conditioned seats, it had satellite radio, it had Wi-Fi, it had OnStar, it had all kinds of stuff. And you need strong batteries to power all that. So the batteries they're putting in vehicles today are sometimes 30% bigger than the batteries they put in 10, 15, 20 years ago. So what can you do to extend and maximize the performance of your battery regardless of the brand? Use a battery charger or maintainer. Use it once a month. This is the Optima Digital 400 charger and maintainer. Anybody can use it. It's no spark technology, so you won't hurt yourself using it. Positive on positive, negative on the ground. That's it. It'll do the rest. Take care of your battery. It'll take care of you and your vehicle.
Well, there you have it, Greg. I guess we figured out where the Mustang falls in or the GT500. I keep calling it a Mustang, and it is, but
I mean, it is a Mustang.
I think it deserves to be called the GT500. Well, anyways, we figured out where it lands on the pantheon of super muscle cars, somewhere in the middle.
I mean, honestly, take money out of it, I think it might be at the top of the list.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%.
But I mean, you can't legitimately take money out of it. You can't. It's
Well,
too
I
big
can't
of a
afford
deal.
any of these cars that we've been building. That's why we've been doing it. It's fun. But so for me, yeah, I can take money out of it because this is all just make believe.
And if it's make believe money, I'm getting the GT500. I mean, we haven't built the
Yep.
Hellcat yet, but there's no way the Hellcat is beating the GT500 for me.
Having driven all three of them, man, it pains me to say, like I would, like out of the box, like I'm not modifying them.
Mhm.
I would get the GT500. You know, if I was anticipating like modifying one of them, I would get the ZL1 just because I love Chevy and I like the Camaro and I think it's a beautiful design.
It is.
But good Lord,
sharp,
man.
It's a sharp car. I mean,
that GT500 is hard to argue with. I mean, just going down the list of everything that we measured on, performance, looks, everything but the price, just like you said, is just it's an awesome car.
yeah, get rid of that little wheel though. Come on, give me something different for the transmission selector.
Oh yeah, that's weird. And a heads-up display. Come on, guys, what are we doing? You build like a super track centric car, and
I'm okay without the heads-up display, but that said, I wouldn't thumb my nose at one.
Yeah, you wouldn't say no.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't not buy it because it doesn't have one.
No, you're right. Anyways, we won't beat that dead horse. We scored them. I am looking forward to the next episode when we do the Hellcat in whichever trim level we decide upon, be that red eye or regular. My vote is for red eye.
I think red eye is the right call. I really do.
Yeah.
The fair call. Call.
So
unless we're trying to sneak it in there in the value segment,
well, we didn't do that with either of the other cars, so I don't think we can be fair and do it with the Hellcat, although I know Rob is going to make a big push for it. We're just going to have to vote him out, but where do you think it's going to land though? I mean, now that we've done the first two, where do you think the Hellcat's going to land? Is it going to be in the middle, the best value, or the worst?
I think now, because I have not really dug into Dodge's configurators, I don't know how much we're talking. I know it's going to be the GT500 because the system worked. Our system worked the way we wanted, which was to heavily weight money in the value equation. So I don't think there's any way the GT500 is going to get off the bottom of that list.
Yeah, but are you surprised how close the Camaro and the GT500, the ZL1 and the GT500 were on the low end? I mean, they were within $30 per point on the low end.
Yeah, but I also don't know that was totally fair, because that's me, who's Mr. Diehard Mustang, and I only dinged it twice, right? And you are the Chevy guy, and you dinged the ZL1 quite a bit harder than I dinged the GT500. So I don't know that is super fair. Because again, that's a lot of emotion, in that equation. But when you start looking at the middle and the top, they're significantly apart. So really, short of us building a $85,000-$90,000 Challenger, I mean, actually, we'd probably have to be 90 at least for.
Well, I mean, the red eye is it's a pricey car. It's not, it's not exactly cheap. It's not chump change.
Yeah. But I mean, we know that Rob is very much a Challenger dude. Like, I'm very much a Mustang guy. So there's a chance it's going to end up really giving the ZL1 a run for its money value-wise.
Well, the thing is, the ZL1 offered more customization when building it than the GT500 did. I mean, this episode was short.
Clicks.
We were locked in, man. Like we couldn't select anything. It was like floor mats and a car cover. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, and we were making fun of the ZL1 for not having options, but I did not expect it to be that short. That just click,
yeah,
click,
man.
you're done.
So I think that's going to play a big role, right? So if the starting price of a red eye is $80,000, and there's a performance package that's 10 or 12 grand, well, we're right where we're pretty close. But if there isn't, if the starting price is like 80 grand for a red eye, but you can't add anything to it or take anything off, well, then it's probably going to land somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what does a red eye start at? Like, do we know?
I don't know. I think everyone's going to have to wait until next week to find out.
But I mean, my gut says that it's probably going to end up in the middle, or probably go ZL1, red eye, GT500 on the value scale. And then when we break it down and look at the actual scores, I feel like it's going to go GT500, ZL1, red eye. That's kind of
betting man. I might take that, Greg. I might agree with you.
But but who knows? We gotta take next week and see what happens, because if you had told me last week that I was gonna ding the GT500 for a couple of things, I wouldn't have believed you. I thought it was getting fives across the board. I thought it was just gonna be a solid 35 point game.
I think if we weren't comparing it to the other two cars, it probably would get fives across the board. Yeah. If it was just a standalone critique of the car, I might ding it slightly for the interior, a couple things that I didn't care for in there. But other than that, I mean, and the fact that you can't get a true manual, those might be like my two gripes about it. But having driven the car with the DCT, like, I didn't mind it, so I wouldn't, make too much of a stink about it.
I mean, I'd still ding it exactly as I dinged it. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I don't see the DCT as such a huge turnoff, other than that stupid knob. Like, like that really bothers me. Like, that just pokes me.
Well, this is not the first time that we've talked about it. I mean, there have been many other vehicles that have it. And I remember the first vehicle I ever drove with it, I think it was a Dodge Ram, and it had like the gear selector knob right next to the stereo. And I was like, that seems dangerous to me. Like,
well, there's a meme going around about that where it's like Nickelback comes on and you wreck your car.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Like, okay, well, I guess I just ruined my transmission. I wonder if that would have happened, right? Since it's like an electronic selector, like, I wonder if there's like some fail safe to where it won't, ruin your transmission if you try and shift while you're driving.
Well, I'm not going to say that I know it won't hurt it, but I may have accidentally done something really stupid when I was younger. And nothing bad happened. So I think it's probably smart enough. I'll just say that.
Well, yeah, I had a truck, like an OBS Silverado when I was younger, like 17. And, obviously it was an automatic, it was a manual. So I tried to throw it in neutral while I was driving so I could like rev the engine.
Do a nice little neutral drop.
Yeah. And I went a little too far. and it just kind of I heard some grinding, and I quickly put it back into drive. And I don't think I broke anything. I kept driving the truck. So
yeah,
I don't know if that counts.
See, I can't say anything because it wasn't my car that happened in. So I still don't, to this day, don't know if the person knows what happened, but nothing bad. Nothing bad happened. Like,
that you know of.
Well, no, I do, because that car was, around my life, not to give anything away, for another like 6 years.
Okay.
Before it was finally traded in. Like,
and then it was the next person's problem.
But yeah, it didn't. I mean, I think I hurt myself more than the car got hurt.
Yeah,
that was
pride.
Just, my pride, the seat cushion.
Yeah, dude, that's how I was. I was like, oh, it was not good.
What did I just do?
Super scared. I was like, oh no. Anyways, today was a fun episode. We're always glad to have Rob on the show. Unfortunately, we had to kind of cut a little bit short because we were filming at the office today, and And as you know, Greg, we oftentimes run late filming the RodCast because that's just sometimes our filming schedule, and it aligns with our guests and stuff. And that's not always the case at the office, right? So sometimes you gotta leave.
The poor cleaning crew's like, we just want to work and go home.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't hold them up for the sake of the RodCast, even though we love you guys so much. But all seriousness, we really do appreciate you guys. If you're still watching, you're still with us, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment in the section below and let us know what you want to see next week, what we did right, wrong this week, what you liked, who you agreed with. Probably Rob. Everybody seems to like Rob. I don't get it. I'm just kidding, Rob. But tune in next week. I just want to take a moment to also thank our sponsors as we wrap things up here. Performance Distributors, Pro Charger, ARP, Liqui Moly, Silver Sport Transmissions, Holley Performance Brands, Optima, Performance Online, and of course our title sponsor, Lucas Oil. Greg, before we call it a night, you have anything for the people?
No, I think that's about it.
Cool. Everybody at home, tune in next week, noon Pacific time, always the RodCast. Peace.